Well, in
Tito,
that case,
Tito.
tell us the story of how you got out of Venezuela.
Well,
No, because
it
I
was it
remember
was
I remember reading a very emotional post about your journey from Venezuela to Scotland. So I was like, well, I need to hear this firsthand.
yes. Um, by the time that I was supposed to travel from Venezuela, I mean, after everything was finally done, I think the hardest part was from the documentation that I needed. Well,
Mm,
um, was the English test. I mean, to get
mm.
into uni, for example, like I passed the audition, which was me recording myself playing,
Well,
and
obviously you
that
passed
part
the
was
audition.
that was fun. That was the easiest part. I'm serious. That was the easiest part. Also because I mean, the teacher already knew me, so it's like he met me in person, and he knew I could play, so that wasn't a problem. And I passed my audition. I got the scholarship. It was like the second step. And then the hardest part for me was to pass the English test, which is so totally on me. Like seriously, it was just a very hard English test, and I had to do it. Um, more times than I wanted to, but anyways, I did it. I passed it. Finally done. Then was then there was the actual challenging part, which was get the money to pay for the ticket, because like maybe years before that point where I had to travel, it would have been possible because my family could they could have paid for it. I mean, they could have afforded for that amount of money because the country was normal. But when I had to travel, the country wasn't okay. The economical situation was very bad, and there was no access to dollars, and it was very complicated. I mean, it was my ticket was supposed to be 1,600, 500 pounds, around that. I mean, 1,600 $600. Um, more or less, it depends. I know there are dates, and but by the time that well, actually, one second, let me get back. Because before the ticket, for the plane ticket, I had to pay for my visa. So the visa, you had to pay for the health system for 4 years, because my I mean, studying here was for 4 years. So I got the scholarship for 4 years, and you need to pay for that and the visa application, blah blah blah. Anyways, it was
So
very
what are we
expensive.
looking at overall? Like 5K, 7K, 10K? What are we looking at?
No, 3,000. Right now my memory is very bad. Also because every time that I tell this story, I tell it in Spanish. So now I'm telling it in English, and my memory is just clashing.
Well, musicians and all the drugs. What can I say?
It's hard to tell this story in English. I think it's the first time that I tell it. I mean, recording it, and so
All
it's
right.
fun. Anyway,
If
so
you
the
want, you
hard
can
part
tell
was
it
to
in
pay for
Spanish
it.
and we'll like do subtitles.
Oh, it's okay. But yeah, it was a lot of money. It was like 3,000 pounds.
Mm.
And
I mean, that's.
I didn't have 2,000 pounds. Obviously, my family didn't have 3,000 pounds, and they couldn't even dream about getting it. So, like,
Mm.
if they did, it would be a debt for life. And and what we did was we created a GoFundMe account. I mean, campaign, and my teacher was helping from here, from Scotland, and a lot of people donated. And but obviously, I mean, you need to move a lot, a campaign like that, to get the money fast enough. And I have very little time because I was supposed to leave in, I mean, the school year was starting in September, and I was doing this, I think, June, July, because was when I passed the test. So I needed to have
Okay.
the test before actually getting into having the visa and all of this stuff. So
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
very, I mean, it was, it
Last
was,
minute stuff, yeah.
it was, it was a rush. Yeah, exactly. So we did the GoFundMe campaign, and this this British couple, decided to lend me the money. So they said, we give you the money and you will pay when you're here. You will pay in parts, however you can. It's like, we don't want you to lose this opportunity. They didn't
Oh,
know me.
wow.
They knew my teacher.
Okay.
So they pay for my visa, and they also lend me the money for the ticket. Now that I'm thinking, yeah, I think 3,000 pounds something was the overall between the ticket and the visa. The visa wasn't 3,000 pounds. My
Mm.
mistake again. English, Spanish. I cannot remember what the details. I don't want to, but anyway. But yeah, they lent me the money for it. They pay for it, and then actually applying for the visa, because there is no certainty that you will get the visa. So you have to give all the documentation. You have to give proof that you are going to study here, that you can afford living here. Because even if my visa was covering the matriculation, it wasn't covering. I mean, it was covering a part of
Not
my
living
maintenance.
costs and
It
stuff.
wasn't
Yeah.
covering everything. So I needed to exactly. So I needed to have some money, which I didn't. But anyway,
But
um.
yeah, I did. Yeah.
Anyway, you could prove.
You have to be like,
No,
yeah, yeah,
I
I'll be
mean
fine. Yeah,
the
I'll be great. Yeah. Sometimes you have to just be like, yes, yeah, I've got everything.
obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. and that's it. I finally, I mean, they approved my visa, and this happened in September. So I came here to study. I mean, the academic year starts in September. I came 1 month later. So, which was okay because the uni knew I needed to wait for the visa. It took long, blah blah blah. So it was totally fine.
And they were also aware that you're a
And
genius,
yeah,
so
that's
you're
how.
like learn everything that was taught in the first month.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. That was yeah.
I'm allowed to
Very
say it, eh?
realistic.
I'm allowed to say it.
And yeah, I will not deny anything. Yeah. Ah, no, no, I wasn't, but it's okay. Um, that's how it happened. So this amazing couple lent me the money,
Mm.
which by the way they didn't. I mean, I paid part of it, and then they said like you don't have to pay the rest. Like we are happy that we helped you, and we're in contact all the time. I tell them they are my godparents, like my British godparents, because they are amazing. They behave amazing. Yeah, I know there are good people in the world.
Yeah, yeah,
There
there
are
are.
very good people in the world,
There's
and
loads of
I
good
feel
people.
like I've always had people like this around me, which is amazing, and I say it's because of art. I say, I mean, I've had the opportunity to meet all of these people because I've been involved in music and arts in general. Like again, I know so many people, so many actors and actresses
Mm.
and artists. I'm always unsure of how to call them in English, but I would say I'm
Artists.
artistas plásticos.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones that I mean, the painters and the sculptures and whatever,
We know, we know.
all of them. Poets. Seriously,
So the hippie
I've been
community, what
lucky
we trying to.
all my life. And yeah, the happy people, the creative people, the good people. But but yeah, so yeah, they helped me, and then I came to Scotland, and it's been an adventure since. So
Yeah, but I
it's
remember a
now
specific
five
story
years,
about.
almost 5 years.
I remember a specific story of you and it was a taxi driver or something about. Oh, no, at the airport there was some sort of story at the airport.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay, if you wanna get into that, so
No, because I remember
traveling
it.
was
Yes.
yeah, the actual journey was pretty fun. So I left from Venezuela, and I went to from Venezuela to Colombia
Mm.
because the flight to London was from Colombia. So I went Venezuela, Bogota, and then Bogota, London. So
See.
when I say, I mean, I remember the last time I saw my family, because I haven't been back in Venezuela since I left. I haven't seen them since then, and it's amazing because you say bye, and then the door just closes and you don't see them anymore. And I was just crying. I was
Oh.
crying so much that the guy that checks your documents, he was like, "Why are you crying?" I'm like, "Because I'm leaving my family." I was just crying a lot. Anyway,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I left. I was 19 years old. It's the first time that I mean, it was the first time that I left my family for
Mm.
anything, that I was going away from my house. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like, it was a big step, a very big step, and very shocking as well. And I mean, I was happy because of what was going to happen to me, but it's like, still, it's very crushing. It's like, and I remember the flight was very, I mean, I took my flight, it was like 1 hour, and then I took the flight, was half an hour to, or maybe more, whatever, to Bogota. The thing is that to wait for my flight to London, it was 7 hours wait. So imagine that you just left your house, your family, and you have to wait 7 hours to get to your future, right? It's like
So
you
you
have a
fell
lot
asleep.
of time to think.
Oh,
No,
oh.
I didn't. I cry all the time. I was
Oh.
crying and I kept
Well, fair
thinking,
enough.
if I want to go back to Venezuela, I can literally walk. It's like I could walk from Colombia to Venezuela, you can walk because there is not the whole world in between. So I was just like, I still have time to get back to Venezuela if I want. But anyway, it happened 7 hours on me. Obviously, I was dehydrated because of that, huh? And then
Because
I
all the
finally,
crying.
when we were almost, yeah, when we were about to get to the plane,
Yeah.
I saw this guy, and and he was almost, I mean, he was crying too. Oh, he was crying before, but you could see that his eyes were not
You're
okay.
both like,
And I was like, this guy is Venezuelan too. The guy was Venezuelan too, and we made company. Like, I mean, we made friends in that moment, and we said, okay, we stayed talking, and we were like sad because we left our families, and blah blah blah. It was very sad, and then we had to get on board, and we weren't sitting close to each other. But when we arrived in London, he his family was waiting for him. So I mean, he left his daughter and his wife. He's an adult, like much older than me, and then his brother and sister or something were gonna pick him up, and they helped me with my. I had two big suitcases, a backpack, and my guitar, and it was a lot of stuff for a little girl. You know me, I'm very short, so it was like, so they helped
and
me a
you're
lot.
also like,
They also they
it's like a
yeah,
very sad Dora the
when
Explorer, just like a heartbroken, like,
yeah,
I'm going on my
when
first
I landed in London, I
adventure.
wasn't crying. No, no, when I landed in London, I wasn't crying. I did all
Okay.
my crying in Bogota, which was
Okay.
okay. I had 7 hours to cry, so that's
Okay.
enough.
Fair enough.
Right,
Fair enough.
I had more things to worry about. Like not understanding any of the indications. It's like I couldn't understand anything. I mean, I could speak very little, and
Okay.
it was very bad. And that's why these people helped, because they could understand, right? They could, okay, you have to go this here, blah blah blah. So they put me the right way where I was gonna go. I mean, it was Heathrow, so it's one of the biggest
Was it
airports in
T5
London,
to which
and
terminal? You remember?
I don't know. I don't remember anything because it was everything blurry. And
From
I
all the
remember they
tears.
put me on a
Okay. Fair
train.
enough.
They put me on a train to the right, to go to the right gate, to the right plane
Yeah.
in that huge airport. And then when I arrived at the gate and I had to put my, I mean, to send my luggage, the baggage, they told me that it was closed because they needed to arrive 1 hour, at least half an hour earlier. No, at least 1 hour earlier to put the, because you have to go
Oh,
underneath
so
on
the luggage.
the
So
luggage
okay,
thing.
for your okay, got you, got you, got you.
Yeah, exactly. And
And you're like, lady, I got.
I was like, oh, what? I mean, what am I supposed to do? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I panicked. Seriously, I panicked immediately. And they could see that I was like, I started to cry again. So they found someone who spoke Spanish, and they were talking to me. And it's like, you can take the bus or you can take the train. And I'm like, lady, I don't have money. I cannot do that. And I'm like, I was just crying because I was thinking, this is my thought, right? I could see them speaking. I wasn't understanding anything. I wasn't even listening. Even the one that spoke Spanish, I was not paying attention because I was panicking in my brain. And I
Mm.
was thinking, I cannot go back to Venezuela from here. I cannot walk from here. I said,
I can swim.
it's like, it's too late now. It's like, what do I do? And I didn't know what to do. It was just like, I don't know. I seriously, I didn't speak. I wasn't trying to sort out anything. I was just panicking. It was just a moment of me crying, sad,
Well, yeah, because
not knowing what to
you
do.
literally just left your family. You're half depressed, and you don't speak the language properly. And then this person's going, "Oh no, we can't take your luggage on the plane." You're like,
I know.
"I'll give up.
You
I'm
can buy
done."
the next ticket, and I'm like, I don't have money. Like I don't know what to do. I mean, I had like $500 or something. I don't know. It was,
Oh,
but that's yeah, but that's nothing, and that's all the money that I had.
yeah, fair enough.
So until I got my scholarship, so I was
Mm.
just like I couldn't do anything else. And then I remember my guitar teacher was gonna pick me up at the airport. So I mean, and I was like, if I lost my flight, then how I didn't have internet as well, because until you don't check in, you don't have access to the Wi-Fi. And I didn't have data on my phone because Venezuela, blah, blah. I mean, whatever. It was a mess.
Yeah.
So I
So,
couldn't contact anybody. I was just, I mean, I didn't know what to do. And then I don't know what happened. Seriously, I think it was like half an hour, 40 minutes, when the guy, because they also told me, like, you cannot, the airline, it was British Airways. And when I traveled from Bogota to London, I had my two suitcases, as I said, as a baggage. So they go underneath on the plane. And then I had my backpack and then my guitar. My guitar counted as hand luggage. So they didn't have any problem. The airline that flew from Bogota to London, they didn't have any problem with my guitar. And then when I arrive in London and I'm supposed to to travel to Glasgow, British Airways says no, the guitar cannot go as a hand luggage because it's too big, blah blah blah. And if he doesn't have a hard case, um, I mean, make it pass as baggage because it's gonna
mm.
break or something. So it's like we are not gonna take responsibility, blah blah blah. It's like, so basically you're telling me I cannot take my flight because I arrived late. I mean, I arrived up to send the luggage, basically, that because I could still take the flight. But and then you're telling me that I cannot travel with my guitar. It's like, can you not leave it somewhere and then just I'll pick it up later? I mean, just come back and get it somewhere. I was just like, so all of this
You're like,
information. I was
"Huh?
just like,
Like,
I don't know
huh?"
what to do. Exactly, it was super weird. And then at the end, what they told me, okay, look, this guy, he said, we're gonna put you in the next flight, but you need to send your guitar as baggage. You cannot put it as hand luggage. So find a way to put your guitar. I mean, to protect your guitar. At this point, I was just like, I don't even care. I can just leave it here. I just want to arrive to Glasgow. I go buy another guitar. My guitar is nothing special. I mean, the guitar that I brought from Venezuela, it was a
Well, we know
normal
the
guitar.
talent
I
is in
said, I
here. We
don't
know.
care. Exactly. No. So I can play as good with any. But so at this point I was so stressed and so I just said, I don't care if your rice broken, seriously, I don't care, I just want to get to Glasgow and rest and sleep and arrive, right? So I was like, I mean, the flight from Bogota to London, it was 10 hours flight. So I've
Mm.
been traveling at this point 2 days because I had to wait 7 hours, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I went.
You were
They
done. You
told
were.
me, they got me the flight and everything. Yeah, well, it was like 3 hours to the next flight, so I had plenty time. And I put my suitcases, and then I went down at the airport to wrap my guitar into bubble wrapping, whatever. So I wrapped the guitar and I wrapped the case and then wrap it again. So I paid. I think I paid like £30 for that. Back then I didn't even know how much money I had in my hand. I was just like, I exchanged it and I was paying something. I was just like, I don't care. I just want to get home. So it was horrible. It was generally bad. And imagine these like bursting tears and like looking very good because you slept a lot, right, on your flight. So yeah, it was very nice. And finally the guy, I mean, I asked him like, how did this happen? Like, how did I get on a flight? Whatever. And he just said to me like, I have a daughter. It's like he saw that I was sad and poor, and he just felt sorry for me, and he's like, I
I
don't know
do
what
have
he
a
did. I don't know
question.
if he
I
paid
do
for
have a
it.
question. This guy, did he not have a doctor 2 hours ago before he started putting you through all this nonsense? Did he just remember 2 hours in? He's like, this girl's like completely crying, broken down, shell of her former self, and she at that point, hang on, I'm also a parent. Let her pass. Like,
I don't know what they did. I'm serious. I don't know if he paid for this. I don't know who paid for this. I don't know
oh,
how to sort it out, but they did, and I'm thankful because yeah, I got to Glasgow. I mean, after that, I did my check-in, and then I only had to worry about my backpack, and everything else was gonna arrive in Glasgow. And it was like that. My teacher, I mean, was waiting for me at the airport, and my nightmare was, I mean,
over.
got to the end. So
And then the real
exactly.
nightmare
That's
can
why
begin.
was over. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it was. I remember when I got to Glasgow, like when I arrived in the house. Also, that I rented a room from Venezuela, in a family house.
Mm.
So this lady was super nice, and I think that was actually the best that could happen, like the best that I could choose, because it was a very safe place. Super nice lady. We're still friends until now, and it was the best. It couldn't be better. Seriously, the place was amazing. The people were amazing. One of the other tenants, we became friends. We are friends, and I mean, I would say she was my first best friend in Glasgow,
Oh,
and
BFFs for life.
yeah, so yeah, and my guitar arrived complete, so it wasn't broken. It's good. Stupid
British
Airways.
Airways.
Yeah, sure. Never use British Airways if you're a musician. So
You got your
and
guitar.
actually, like a couple of days after that, yeah, yeah. After that happened, like 2 days afterward, a very famous guitarist, Scottish guitarist, he posted like British Airways down, and like a photo with the logo and everything. He's like, they didn't let me travel with my guitar, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I know. So it just happened to me. So it was so much. It made everything worse. It was already bad. It just made it worse. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was a little bit of how I actually got here. So it's not just how difficult it was to pay for the visa, hard to actually travel. It's like
Fair enough. Fair enough.